thinker, sustainable event planner and curator. She is the founder of Elemental Leads, an environmentally focused creative platform that promotes art, music and community campaigns with a sustainable theme. Recently, Elemental has joined forces with Rainbow Junction to create the Elemental Bistro, which brings people together through shared eating to catalyse change. Thank you, Tami.
Hi everyone, so I'm just in my final week of the moment, so things are quite hectic, but following from what Dean said, I initiate, catalyse and create creative events using environmental art and bringing people together. I think something that I really care about and I'm passionate about is connecting people. So why connect people? I think connecting people creates a space for new narratives, where we can really explore where we are now, and people feel and they act different when they feel a sense of like connection, which kind of transcends like individualism, when you're stuck in your own head and you're like, oh god, everyone's out against me. But when you're together, working on something together, or meeting people in a shared space, it just completely transforms. So like this event, for example, is like commonality. So everyone here has something in common. We all care about food and the environment, and bringing people together in a space who care about that creates a new reality and a new story, because we are people in the now who are thinking about that change, and it reaffirms what you believe and inspires you, essentially. So I founded Elemental Leads about 2.5 years ago, because I kind of noticed a gap in the art scene or the event scene that was going on. There are a lot of events, loads of incredible events going on in Leeds, but nothing that's specifically focused on the environment and sustainability. So I thought I'd set that up, and we did our first event in Hyde Park Book Club, and there was like spoken word and music, and it's just really lovely. And from there, it's just been an incredible journey of meeting people, collaborating. Every event that I've organised, people have come up to me and be like, hey, can I do this? And I'm like, yeah. So it's moved from like a more performance-y exhibition thing to an immersive dance performance from Northern Contemporary, who did a piece about plastic waste. They all started off in a bin bag. I think you were there. And then they were like stretched out and moved around, and did this whole story about the life cycle of plastic through dance. And then it turned into a club night for a bit, raising money for the Interfaith Vegan Alliance. And then from that, I went to the Rainbow Junction Cafe and attended a bistro. And there was a woman in the corner who was playing guitar. And I was just speaking to her about her music and her art, and she said that she really loves playing at community events. And I thought, what if I could take the bistro model and just upscale it, connect loads of different artists and people, students and locals, and bring them all together. And that's how the Elemental Bistro started. Lots of help from Caleb. Got an incredible chef to come along and plan a whole menu, did promotion, and
it just sold out, didn't it?
Yeah, sold out in a week, which was cool. So I think about 140 to 150 people came into All Hallows. There was a 4-course vegan meal, but it's not just about the food, it's about the social side. And I think when you look at the word sustainability, to be honest, I'm really doubting what that word means anymore, because I've been studying it for 3 years, so I've got a bit disillusioned with the word. But people break it down with the triple bottom line. So you've got the environmental side, you've got the social side and the financial side, and when all three are aligned, that's sustainability. But unfortunately, a lot of the world see that as financial, and then the eco people see it as the environment, and the social side gets left out. And I think that's really what Elemental is trying to do with the events, is social sustainability, where you bring like-minded people together or inspire people who wouldn't otherwise be in that space. Because it's great to talk about like carbon and climate change and trees, but without the space for people to explore those ideas, it's just going to be a fact. I find that is really important. I haven't been able to run another event this month. I was going to do one in Caleb's junk food space, but university work has been too much at the moment. But next year, I just have the room and space to collaborate and run more events and see where it goes. I think Elemental is like a fluid concept. Essentially, it's creative social activism. It's using creative forces to make positive social and environmental change. and whatever medium that is, it really doesn't matter. It's going to flow and change.
Because you are a uni student, but you're still doing so much. So it goes to show that no matter how busy you are, you can actually just put that little bit of something forward.
Yeah, it's about looking at your essentially what you have and your power and influence. And I was fortunate enough to have met so many people that I could bring them together and run an event. And in a way, I kind of felt it was an obligation of mine to do, because you can preach loads of stuff, but if you don't do anything about it, then it's kind of change through doing.
Yeah.
I think that's key points. Definitely, like maximizing what you can do as an individual, but to maximize that, it's all about the collective and connection, like you say. Like, it's amazing, and that's like something I want everyone to like have in mind today, is that when you have an idea or a vision, or you think, oh, there's something wrong in the world, something that we can do better, you might not have all the answers, you probably don't have the answers, you probably don't have all the skills, but if you have something, you've got a little bit of a drive, then just start talking to people, and it's amazing like how you can connect with people. Like when we started Happy Caterpillar, wanting to show people out raw vegan food, I don't think we knew about the Real Junk Food Project at the time, and then we were introduced to the Real Junk Food Project, and we've been able to show people in different cities using junk food, like a 3-course raw vegan meal that people have never even heard of raw vegan food before. So I think just wanted to reiterate that really.
I completely connect that, because it is just all a conversation, being open for that conversation, having the space for connection, openness for conversation and collaboration. If it wasn't for that first event, I don't think the bistro would have happened.
Have you always been passionate about the environment and sustainability?
Not at all. Like when I was at school, it didn't really cross my mind that much. But I went travelling on my own for a year before uni. I did like a round the world trip. I spent a lot of time in South Africa in like permaculture farms and like permaculture schools. And I think that's where I really understood that we're doing things like in a really inefficient way, and that things can be done in a better way. And once that kind of switched on in my mind, I've then been seeking it ever since.
Was it? I remember another talk I saw you do. You mentioned is it a Disney movie that inspired you?
Oh yeah, there's a Disney movie I saw when I was a kid called City of Ember, and that really switched me on in terms of resources being finite. I don't know if any of you've seen it. It's essentially about the world 5,000 years in the future. It's just completely done. Or maybe it was 500 years in the future, and humanity, as like select few, lived underground in this this world that was essentially there to keep humanity alive, and everything was conserved. All clothing had to get repaired, and they grow their own food underground, and everyone had their own different jobs. And I think that film really switched me on to seeing resources as finite, and that we can't be living the way we are. Yeah.
The City of Ember, did you say?
EMBER. It's really cool.
What are some of the challenges that you faced with the elemental group? Like what difficulties have you had? What have been the obstacles or things that you've had to dig in?
I think just balancing being a student and running this stuff, because my grades have definitely been jeopardised from running events. Finding the motivation comes from meeting other people, and if I'm bogged down with uni stuff, I'm not meeting those people and I'm not inspired. So I think a big challenge is maintaining that energy and motivation. I'm sure everyone experiences that. Yeah.
What would you say your proudest achievement would be with Elemental?
Proudest achievement? Probably the first bistro. It just had this incredible energy, and everyone was just, really, really happy to be there. I came home from the bistro, I was so drained and exhausted and just burst into tears of happiness. I was just like, this is incredible, I need to do it again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you do find the rewards when you're doing something that's worthwhile, and it's not just for you, and it's not just for the money. things seem to click often. And
About gifting,
yeah.
I think it's quite an alien concept to a lot of people. Like when you receive a gift with nothing in return, people get a bit confused about what that is. And I think it's really important to just give for the sake of giving, because amazing things happen from it. Yeah.
What are your next projects or next events? Have you got anything lined up?
Next project, so I'm going to this like United Nations like funded climate innovation summer school, so that's going to take up most of my summer, and it's like a fast track to create your own like sustainable project. So it could be to do with like urban transitions, food, energy, or anything, and that's all over Europe. So I'm going to go there, learn a lot of stuff, and then come back to Leeds and see what I can do. I'm thinking of setting up some sort of social enterprise, but I just don't know what that is yet. An exciting project that I do have lined up is we're creating a community renewables organisation. We're putting solar panels on the roof of Leeds University Union, and then that will create the money from that will then create a community energy fund, and then that money will then fund various like projects in LS6. So essentially it would like create about $5 to $6 grand a year from energy, from selling it back to the grid and to the university, and then that money could then be like a grant to Rainbow Junction or a grant to Interfaith Vegan Alliance and the allotments, that type of thing. So essentially we're trying to build a model that will be resilient and run with, like when we've all moved on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting.
I was going to say, so what can people do to get in touch or show their support? How can they contribute?
I'd say just chat with me if you have any ideas for events. Then I'd love to collaborate and get involved. I have no clue what's going to happen in the future. I've just graduated, so I don't know what will be happening. I'm definitely going to be in Leeds. I want to run more events, but I'm just looking for people to collaborate with.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Collaborate with us.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we are right now.
So do you guys have any questions for Tami?
How do you find kind of engaging everyday kind of people in kind of ideas about sustainable lifestyle and about the environment and things like that? Do you think there's kind of an agenda to our generation kind of being stuck in, I suppose, because we're fed every single day just news feeds about things that we don't need to bog our heads up with. And there's a lot of people that don't necessarily have like the intellectual intelligence to quite understand it.
Yeah.
How would you go about
So people who aren't interested, essentially. I think.
Yeah,
I think so. With that, like, it's really difficult, and I think what I like to focus on is people who are semi-interested to interested, because then the people who are semi-interested, who are like, well, what can I do? They can go to an event and be like, oh, okay, these projects, community organisations are going on, I'm going to get involved with them. So like, it's been really valuable running the events at Rainbow Junction, because now a lot of people then start volunteering and getting in touch. Like the head chef Ross, he didn't really know much about the Real Junk Food Project, and then he cooked at the event, and now he's working with Interfaith Vegan Alliance and also at your events as well. And so I think just the connection of people who are semi-converted is good. But then I think the best tool to reach like a wide audience is art, because it can be understood by everyone. There's no limit to it. There's no specific language that you have to understand. It's something you can interpret in your own way. But it is difficult to find people. Like, I don't think a random person from Brigham would come to this event, say, and that is like a big problem that a lot of organisations are trying to figure out what to do. Like, how do you get more people to come to your cafe? How do you explain the value of pay-as-you-feel food waste? I think, social marketing is probably the best one for that. Like, I know a lot of government organisations use it, where you use normal tactics, like say that event poster for that festival is just like a marketing thing. But if you use that same design for something that has a positive social environmental impact, then that will then engage people who otherwise wouldn't be. Because unfortunately, like, we're all consumers, and then that's the only way to communicate with people. Yeah.
Just to sidetrack slightly, I just wanted to ask how the Emporium, the Real Junk Food Emporium, how's that doing in terms of, because I saw the marketing some posters of weeks like looked pretty good, and it's in the city centre. Just wondered how that had been like received. And yeah, by the way, this is kind of everyone chip in with any thoughts, anything's kind of open forum. So that's your question, that is.
I mean, it's going pretty well. Again, like a steady stream of people. And I was talking to him earlier, it's kind of like, it's quite a nice balance between like people who know about the project and people who don't know about the project, who just come in off the street. And then there's like a nice mix between people who like kind of come in and they're like, oh, we're doing really cool, like we need to work against food waste, this is a ridiculous problem, this, that and the other, and they're kind of there to support it as a project. And then there are people who go there who are there for the project to support them and then kind of take quite a lot of food. And we get guys who come in like almost every single day and they're just like really, really grateful. Like, there's a woman who comes in with her 3 kids and she's just always like so grateful. So it's just quite rewarding in those different ways. And it seems to be, like we haven't actually done the kind of final count up of all the pay as you feel stuff, but it's been doing quite well. One of the reasons I brought up pay as you feel though during my talk is because it's interesting how people's kind of value of thing actually drops the more time they come to a pay as you feel event. It's like they start to feel, I don't know, I'm not really sure what it is, but they kind of they give less and less and less, which I think is maybe something to do with them kind of thinking that they're almost kind of given enough by them kind of in, which is quite interesting. I mean, it's great that they are coming, but interesting dichotomy there. But yeah, but it's going great. I'm super tired. I'm quite looking forward to kind of putting it on pause for a little bit. But we're kind of looking to do something else in the centre again. So.
Okay. With what Nathan was saying about education, maybe that's something that needs to happen in the cafe. Just way more.
So interesting. And just what you were saying as well, like the post and stuff. Like, the way he was saying he linked kind of water to then giving up fizzy drinks. Like he was phrasing it in this different way. It's like just a much better way than saying, don't do this.
Yeah, you don't want to get told off. You want it to feel like it's coming from you.
Yeah.
And that's what pay as you feel is, it's value coming from you.
Yeah, you could understand the pay as you feel more than me.
Yeah, definitely get the assembly script that he's made.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, use that. Yeah.
Any other questions for Tami, or just general questions about food and the environment, and any thoughts or ideas?
I think for the both of you, with your project and stuff that you're doing, is there kind of like if you've got like a target limit of like the reaching kind of communities in which where you want to go forward and working and networking with other people? Is there kind of like a set goal for yourself? Because obviously with projects like that, you know, it's pay as you feel, and you know, you've still got to keep the lights on, you've still got to keep things running, and it's all kind of, you're not there to make a profit, but you want to kind of slowly tread along. Are there certain set things that you need for yourself to continue that work?
It's just continuous support. I mean, we're quite lucky because we're near the university, so we'll kind of continually get student support. And then we're also in like a very kind of left-wing church who really support kind of what we're doing, and kind of are always very active in the community, so they're always bringing new people in. So we're quite lucky in that sense. In terms of kind of reaching out and kind of who I think we're kind of talking about who we're kind of aiming at.
So just everyone.
Well, no, I think it's more like, I think locally is really what I want to work on. And I do these things like in the centre to kind of do a broader reach out, but where I really want to like focus is to kind of like use it as like almost like a demo where to see if it works on a small scale, and then maybe kind of get it to go further than that. But I mean, Nathan, but it's obviously kind of cracked the local and is now expanding. But I think there's still a couple of cogs kind of missing, like the education side and that side of things. I think we would work those out on a local basis first, and then kind of expanding will make more sense.
And have you worked with kind of like local farms and stuff like that as well, like kind of where the main source of where all the food is coming from, the local area, or look to, you know, what's being grown and what's actually being produced and what's actually coming in and going out the area?
Not so much, because we kind of do that through the junk food. So they kind of like, they're our suppliers and we support them financially a little bit.
before you go, just one more question. One last question for you, Rose. What is the one transformation you would like most to see in the world?
I was thinking about it when you said you're asking everyone. I think sharing. I think we need to stop being the neoliberal dream and move away from individualism to collectivism. I'd like to see more people sharing stuff, especially skills. Skills and knowledge is really important because I feel like I learn more from people than I do from books. And if that could be for everyone, we'd learn a lot more. lot more.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Tami. Everyone. So that's it, guys. 3 speakers done. Thank you so much for coming and supporting our first round talks. I know a few people left, but it is a study day. But we're hoping to do something again. We're going to just follow us and hopefully we'll keep you in touch with what we're going to do.
Yeah, if anyone wants to get speak to us or get in touch with us, there's business cards there if you don't already have our details. Caterpillar or at rawsomethc on social media. Give us your feedback as to how this went, how it could be improved, ideas for future events, themes that you'd like to see us cover maybe. Obviously food and the environment being the first one, but we've got a couple of ideas lined up. Or if you'd like to speak about something as well, then give us a shout.
And one more thing, because it's, as we were talking about page you feel, the money actually goes towards the guest speakers and their creative ideas and what they do. So yeah.
So there's a bucket somewhere behind you.
But thanks again, guys.